Hi everyone, this is Cloud Chief, and welcome to my tanking series on how to tank like a pro. Today I wanted to talk about priorities that you need to have as a tank, and this is very important because this seems to be the biggest thing that is missed by tanks out there. Your first priority as a tank is to keep hate on all the mobs. If you're not keeping hate on all the mobs, then you're not filling the role as a tank. Because you do not want mobs running around hitting your teammates. That's just going to cause problems, it's going to lower damage, and it's just going to make it harder for everyone in the party. So your first primary role is to make sure that you're keeping hate on all the mobs unless the mechanics dictate otherwise. Your second priority in the tank role is to mitigate damage. You want to try and take as little damage as possible, so that way you're making the job easier on your healer. If your healer is scrambling to try and keep you up, then you're just going to have problems as a party. You want to make sure that you are trying to mitigate damage, so that way your healer can easily be keeping you up, can be buffing the other teammates if they are capable of doing that, and even throwing in some damage of their own. Priorities 3, 4, and 5 for tanks are to make sure that you're doing priorities 1 and 2 well. If you're not mitigating damage and not keeping hate on the mobs, then you should not be focused on doing damage as a tank. You want to be sure you're filling the role of keeping the hate on all the mobs and mitigating damage. If you are doing that well, then you can go ahead and start trying to deal out more damage. While tanks at endgame can deal out tons of damage, if you're not filling the actual role of a tank, there's really no point in being there, and it would be better off with just having a DD fill in that spot. So you want to make sure that you are mitigating damage and keeping hate on the mobs. If you can keep hate on the mobs and you can mitigate damage so your healer isn't scrambling all over the place, then by all means deal out damage. I have had tanks that can do ridiculous damage while keeping hate and mitigating damage, but those tanks are few and far between, and I see so many tanks out there just trying to do damage while they're missing the whole role of the tank, which is to keep the attention of all the mobs and to make sure you're not getting your butt kicked, and so your healer isn't scrambling all over the place. So make sure that you're keeping priorities 1 and 2 in check before you're trying to go down the list and deal damage. Great tanks can do all of these things, but if you can't do 1 and 2, you shouldn't be trying to do what's at the bottom of the list, and that's damage. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope some people will actually start trying to play the role of a tank instead of trying to play the role of not the best DPS, and may you have success in all you do.